do a proper introduction for Member of Parliament Libby Davies. Many of you may not know this, but she's one of the founders of the Downtown Eastside Residents Association in 1972. And many occupations, many protest movements on the ground. One of them was a 7-year movement that helped the Carnegie Community Center become a community center. So please welcome Libby Davies.
You know, here we are in the midst of the glass towers, in the midst of the $6 or $8 billion Olympics, in the midst of all the lineups, the mascots, the medals, in the midst of our city, and we are here to speak a truth. And the truth is that housing is a human right and must be addressed. And that's why we're here today. And we want to say to the visitors who are in our city, please notice what is going on in the reality. Look at this banner that has been put together by the Citywide Housing Coalition that is the most incredible graphic of what has actually happened in terms of the increase in homelessness, which has tripled since the Olympic bid was put in, and the very small line of what social housing has actually been built. Please take note of what is happening in this city. And if you feel concerned about what you are seeing and what you're experiencing, then send an email to the federal government, the provincial government, and the city, and speak out and be one with us in solidarity to say that homelessness should not exist in a wealthy country like Canada. It's not like we don't have the money to deal with this issue, right? We see the billions and billions of dollars that's been spent on the war in Afghanistan. And, you know, ironically, we hear about the Olympic trust that's meant to end conflict, Golby, and yet Canada is still involved in that conflict in Afghanistan. We see the money that is spent on the Olympics. And what we are here to say today is that we want to see the social priority, the economic priority of poverty and homelessness and housing addressed not only in our own city but right across the country. We're here to say that we demand that there be a national housing program. And when we had such a program, people were not homeless on the street. They were not destitute. They didn't have to rely on shelters that were forever worried about not having the funds that they'd be closing down. And that's what's going to happen again as we get towards April, that there'll be another crisis and another battle to even keep the shelters, the emergency shelters, open. And so we want to say to the Conservative government that the provision of safe, affordable, appropriate housing for all people is a right in this country. We do have a bill in Ottawa, Bill C-304, that calls for a national housing strategy and program. And it's already passed second reading, and it's already been at the committee. And even though Harper shut down Parliament and is trying to keep us out of there, when we go back, that bill will still be there. And I want to tell you, we are going to fight tooth and nail to get that bill through. I can remember the days when we had a national program, when wonderful housing was built in this city and you didn't see people on the street. And we have to make it clear that it's not an accident what's going on here. It's not people's fault, and it's not an accident. This was about political decisions that were made to abandon these very important social programs, whether it was keeping the welfare rates low, whether it was cutting out the housing programs, whether it was allowing the developers to run amok in places like the Downtown Eastside. These are conscious, deliberate decisions. We got to go off to the federal government and to say, without that involvement with the provinces, the territories, the municipalities, the First Nations, we're not going to have the housing program that we have to have, and we will continue to see a social and economic disaster in our city. We will continue to see the divide grow bigger and wider as more and more people fall into poverty, and the poverty gets deeper and deeper. So thank you for being here today, and I want to end by saying this. You know, we are going back into that Parliament on March the 3rd, and that the housing bill that we have, Bill C-304, will be coming up fairly quickly. And I want to make sure that every single member of Parliament in British Columbia is supporting that bill. The Liberals have been supporting it. The Bloc have been supporting it. Of course, the New Democrats have been supporting it. So if you know of a Conservative passing this basic bill so that we can say housing is a human right, it's being realized, and that this is about caring and compassion and building a society that believes in those rights and acts on those rights. Thank you very much.